So I promised I was going to drop the recipe on how I got this cake with 1 cup of flour, and I used cowbell milk to make this cake with Hollandia yogurt, the small one. So this is the outcome of the cake. Believe me, this is yummy, so sweet, right? So it's something that you want to try out. It's very nice. So I just added my oil and then I added my sugar, and I'm going to stir everything together. Next, I'm going to be adding the egg, but I like to break it separately just in case the egg isn't good. Okay, so I just added the egg. I'm going to stir everything together. Next, I'm going to add the Hollandia yogurt, just the small one. I'm going to add it again. I like to pour it separate to be sure that it's good before I introduce it to my mixture. So I wanted my cake to be soft, not hard. So I decided to dissolve the 2 cowbell milk in water. I didn't make it to be too thick and it wasn't too watery. Okay, so this is the consistency that I got, and then I just transferred it into my mixture. So the next thing I'm going to do is to stir everything together. Then after stirring that, I'm going to introduce my dry ingredients to the liquid mixture. So here I'm using my sieve, and then I'm going to pour my 1 cup of flour into this 1 cup of flour, and then I'm going to add my baking powder into it. So I'm sieving it right now. When I'm done, I'm going to stir everything together to make sure that it is well combined. It is well combined. There are no lumps inside the batter, but don't overmix. If you're doing this, don't overmix. So this is the consistency that I got, and then I'm going to add my flavor. So you can add any flavor of your choice to it. I'm going to add my flavor, and then I'm going to stir everything together. So stir and make sure it is well mixed, but don't over mix. So I'm bringing out a little right now. I'm bringing out a little to add cocoa powder into it. If you have chocolate, you can add chocolate to it, but I don't have chocolate. As at the time I did this, I didn't have chocolate, so I added just cocoa powder, and it still came out very nice. So right now I'm adding my cocoa powder to it. Then stir together to make sure that everything is properly mixed. After that, I kept that aside. I did a little clean up. Then the next, I brought pan. This is 6 inches pan. So you need to dust it. First, you need to rub in butter to it, and then you dust it out with flour. And after dusting with flour, you're going to put parchment paper. They sell it at the market, but if you don't have, you can use your exercise book, but it should be a neat one that you've not written anything. After that, the next thing is to introduce the butter into your prepared pan. So you're doing this because you're using this kind of pan, but there are some, if you're using this non-stick pan, you don't need to go through all this process. So I just use skewer to go through it to avoid air, to remove every air that is inside. So I'm introducing the one that I mixed with my cocoa powder. Like I said, if you have chocolate, you can use chocolate to do this part. But at the point I did this, at the time I did this, I didn't have chocolate. So that's why I used the cocoa powder. And it still came out nice. So this is just what I did, and then I used the skewer, that's the long stick, to go through it. So right now I am baking with gas or stove. You can use anyone. So I'm using pot to do it. I'm baking it with that oven. So I just placed my pot first, and then I'm going to put in a stainless plate into it, and then I'm going to cover it to heat up a little. After heating up, the next thing, I'm going to reduce the gas, and then I'm going to place my cake inside it, and then I'm going to use a towel or maybe a flannel. Like this is the one I normally use to bake with anytime I want to bake with pots. So make sure it's a neat one that you're using. So you just